Hi, my name is Ontisitse Manyeneng, and I'm a South African visual artist. Although I like to explicitly say that I'm a painter. So when people ask what I do, I usually say that I'm a painter, and then I go into specifics about what type of painting I'm talking about, which is obviously oil painting. So I graduated back in 2022, and I specialized in painting and ceramics. But over the years, I've decided to let go of the ceramics part and just focus more on oil painting. And so oil painting is my primary medium of choice. So ever since graduating, or let me just say for the past 3 years, so as of the year 2023, I've been working on a series of paintings titled Talking to You and I. And the series is an exploration of human psychology and looking at the factors that influence how we think, or whether it's how we perceive the world or how we perceive the relationships that we cultivate as we grow up. At the core of my new body of work is the exploration of the family unit. And so with my understanding of human psychology, well, at least the fundamentals of human psychology is you are deeply influenced by the environment in which you grew up in. At the core of that environment is obviously going to be the family that you grew up in. And so I formed this sort of triangle as a point of, not a triangle, a hierarchy as a point of reference. And at the top of it, you have the family unit, and then you have the individual, and then at the very bottom you have the greater society. So the idea behind the hierarchy is to give the audience an understanding of how I think as far as the topic that I'm currently working on. With the hierarchy itself, I say that every action from the top, which is from the family unit, eventually trickles down to the greater society. So in other words, without an exceptional family unit or an exceptional family structure, you cannot necessarily have exceptional individuals, and without exceptional individuals, there won't be an exceptional society. When you look at most of my work, you are going to notice the use of black figures. And I feel that there's a need for me to clarify that the black figures that you see in my paintings are not necessarily a direct representation of African people, but they are more so a representation of the human race itself. And so the idea behind the color black comes from a silhouette. And so when you ask people of different nationalities to stand next to each other and shine a bright light behind them, you are obviously going to be able to see their silhouette. So you won't necessarily be able to pick out their individual skin tones. And so black is the color used to liken it to the dark color that you see when you see someone's silhouette. So that leads me to the point about black being used as the go-to color to represent African people, and eventually leading me into the idea about decolonization. So when we often think about decolonization, we look at it from the perspective that says institutions that were previously owned by European people should belong to the hands of the natives. Whereas in my stance, I say, since I want to do away with particular dualities, especially dualities that were enforced and created by the colonialist systems, I'm looking at it from the perspective that says black can be used to represent everyone. It doesn't necessarily have to be used to represent African people, because that is a stereotype that was created by former colonialists.